Henry Ford is often remembered as the man who invented the car, but that isn't true. Cars already existed long before Ford. They were expensive, unreliable machines made only for the rich. What Henry Ford truly invented was something far more powerful, a way to make technology affordable for ordinary people. And in doing so, he didn't just change transportation, he changed the world. Henry Ford was born in 1863 on a small farm in Michigan. His family expected him to live the same life as his parents and grandparents, working the land from sunrise to sunset. But Henry hated farm life. He found it slow, exhausting, and limiting. What fascinated him were machines. When he was just 13 years old, he saw a steam-powered engine for the first time, and that moment changed his life forever. While others saw noise and smoke, Henry saw possibility. He began taking watches and clocks apart just to understand how they worked, then putting them back together again. Soon, neighbors were bringing him broken clocks, and young Henry fixed them all. At 16, Ford made a decision that shocked his family. He left the farm and moved to Detroit with almost no money and no guarantees. He worked long hours as a machinist, learning everything he could about engines and mechanics. At night, when others slept, he experimented. Henry wasn't chasing wealth or fame, he was chasing movement. He believed machines could free people from exhausting physical labor and give them more control over their lives. In 1896, Ford built his first gasoline-powered vehicle, the quadricycle. It was noisy, unstable, and far from perfect, but it worked. Investors noticed him, and for a moment it seemed like success was close. But reality was harsh. Henry Ford failed again and again. His first two companies collapsed. Investors wanted luxury cars for wealthy customers, but Ford refused. He believed the future belonged to simple, affordable vehicles that everyday people could own. By the age of 40, many considered him stubborn, unrealistic, and impossible to work with. But Henry Ford refused to quit. Everything changed in 1908 with the introduction of the Model T. It wasn't beautiful or luxurious, but it was strong, reliable, and easy to repair. It could drive on muddy roads, survive harsh weather, and keep going when other cars failed. Most importantly, it was affordable. Ford didn't want to sell cars to the elite. He wanted farmers, factory workers, and teachers to drive them. And then he made a decision that would shock the entire world. Instead of building cars one by one, Ford introduced the moving assembly line. Each worker performed a simple task as the car moved down the line. This revolutionized manufacturing. The time required to build a car dropped from more than 12 hours to about 90 minutes. Costs fell dramatically, and every year the Model T became cheaper. Soon, cars were no longer a luxury. America was on the move, but Ford didn't stop there. In 1914, he doubled workers' wages to $5 a day, far more than other factories paid. Critics said he was insane and predicted his company would collapse. But Ford understood something others didn't. If workers could afford the products they made, the entire economy would grow. Productivity increased, loyalty improved, and profit soared. This idea helped create the modern middle class and changed how companies treated their employees forever. Henry Ford was a brilliant visionary, but he was also deeply flawed. He was stubborn, resistant to change, and slow to adapt as the world evolved. His controversial beliefs damaged his reputation and overshadowed parts of his legacy. Competitors eventually surpassed Ford Motor Company in design and innovation. Yet by then, the impact of his ideas was already permanent. Because of Henry Ford, cars became affordable, cities expanded, suburbs were born, and entire industries emerged. Roads, gas stations, and modern factories became part of everyday life. Mass production became the standard around the world. Ford didn't just build cars, he built the system that defines modern industry. Near the end of his life, Henry Ford said, "Whether you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right." His life proved that belief matters as much as talent. He wasn't perfect, and he wasn't always right, but he believed ordinary people deserved extraordinary tools. And that belief reshaped the world we live in today.